My entire life I've been told, don't go to New York in the winter. They have lousy weather, and you'll get stuck at the airport and you never get out of there. And for the last 15 years, me and my family, every winter to get away from the snow and cold in Detroit, we go down to Florida. And all this time I could have been coming here. Thanks for having me here today. I'm really excited to talk about tablets. More importantly, I'm excited about all the enthusiasm about this event and where tablets are headed. It all comes down to one thing. We're headed towards a post-PC digital era. And it's getting here pretty quickly, as everybody's talked about so far. The first tablet, the first iPad, was sold on April 3rd, 2010, less than 2 years ago right now. And in 2012, nearly 1 in 5 adults owns a tablet. And as looking around the room, it's probably about 1 in 5 right now. It's interesting that we're at a tablet conference and everybody's got their laptops up, but that's been pointed out once today. But I think that we're definitely driving into the right direction. And if you look at what's happened recently over this last holiday season, the number of tablet owners nearly doubled. Add to that the Kindle Fire, which sold its first unit on November 15th and has sold 6 million units in just 6 weeks. So 1 million units a week. It's amazing the growth that we're having in this segment right now. For me, I'm extremely excited about it. For the last 15 years or so, I've been carrying a freaking heavy laptop to every meeting with me. I swear to God, my right arm's just about ready to fall off. So I'm really happy now to be able to take a tablet to those meetings and be able to do everything almost everything that I used to do on my laptop, on my tablet. You know, at Buick, we couldn't be more excited about it. The tablet has given us the opportunity to reach a whole new generation of buyers. We set a course a couple of years ago to completely reinvent Buick from a product standpoint. Our goal was to build outstanding luxury cars and CUVs for a new generation of buyers, buyers who want a new kind of luxury right now. It started with the Enclave, and then we rolled out the LaCrosse and Regal. And this past January, we introduced a brand new Verano small luxury car. We have great luxury products, a great product lineup. We're on a roll, and we're looking for new buyers right now. So, at Buick, we embrace what we call a human kind of luxury. And that's exactly how I would describe tablet owners. They're tech-savvy early adopters. They're curious and connected, and they embrace innovations and adventure. You can say this about most mobile owners, people that have a mobile phone with them. However, when you grab your smartphone, you're typically looking for a little bit of information, a quick hit, quick information. By contrast, tablet owners are looking for a more immersive experience. And that's exactly what you have to offer them. Now, we did some research on our iPad app this past January. And what we found people telling us is they didn't want a watered-down PC experience. What they wanted is everything they could get on their PC or laptop, and they wanted it on their iPad and tablet. Some of the verbatims that we got was, the iPad is just another laptop as far as I'm concerned. The quality of the information and the quantity of information seems to go down from desktop to iPad. And I would expect an iPad and PC to work the same. It's more of a wish right now. Clearly, what people are looking for with their experience, with their tablet, is an experience, the same experience that they're getting with the PC or laptop, or better. It's like everything. Everybody wants everything, right? And we want it now, and we want it to cost next to nothing. Now, I know a lot of the publishers today are going to tell you, first of all, a lot of people are advertising on tablets right now. And a lot of publishers are going to tell you that it's actually a relatively small percentage. I think the number's around 33% right now have mobile optimized sites. Back in September, I went to a Google conference, and they were talking about that it was only at about 21%. So we've made a lot of progress over the last 6 months, an extra 50%, but there's a long way to go for everybody to have a mobile optimized site. You know, in some respects, advertising on tablets is the same as advertising everywhere else, whether it's smartphones, the TV, or online. You can't just do it for the sake of getting on the device. Put another way, with tablets, as with any other device, you have to look at where your target audience is going to be and reach them there. And you have to create content that's going to engage those people, not disrupt them. And that's what I'm going to talk about time and time again, how to engage people and not disrupt their experience. So let's take a look at how to reach people. At Buick, our research showed that people we want to target, the ones that are looking for a more human kind of luxury, tend to seek out content that falls under 3 pillars. The first is cultured and connected. These are early adopters, heavy tech users, and those people that need to be in the know. Sounds a lot like a current tablet owner, doesn't it? The second is culinary discovery, and the third is human achievement. So right off the bat, when we look for tablet advertising opportunities, we look for ones that fit one of those 3 pillars. And in 2010, we became one of the first 6 brands and the first and only auto brand to advertise on the Wall Street Journal's iPad app, right when the app launched on the iPad. It was an exciting time. Getting in on the iPad definitely put us ahead of the curve and helped us reach a more tech-savvy, the early adopters. More importantly, we specifically chose the Wall Street Journal app because of what it represented to the content strategy. Readers who were cultured and connected. And this was a great strategy for us, really paid off. Our advertising on the iPad, on this iPad app, blew away our previous benchmarks by 150%. And we didn't stop there. For pillar number 1, we kept reaching out to people who were interested in culture and connectivity. Last year, we were the only auto brand to participate in the launch of the Amazon Kindle through special offers. In the last 6 months, we built in-app integrations for publications such as USA Today and CNN, and I'll talk about USA Today in a few minutes. As with the Wall Street Journal, these readers prioritize keeping up with news and the latest news releases. Basically, the definition of cultured and connected. For pillar 2, we sought to reach people who are invested in culinary and travel content. So we partnered with Food and Wine magazine and Travel and Leisure. But of course, if you're looking for a good restaurant or a good hotel, we want you to drive there in a brand new Buick. For pillar number 3, we worked to reach people with a special interest in human achievement. And we did this by partnering with the NCAA and former NCAA student and athletes who've gone on to make incredible contributions in their community once their playing days are over. I'm going to talk a lot about that in a couple minutes. But one thing that all these programs had in common is they reached out to our audience in places where we knew they'd be, with content that we knew that they'd be interested in. None of these programs was just about getting out there. This is a mistake that I see a lot of people make, just trying to get out there, be in the marketplace. But when you're building your tablet strategy, you have to really think about who you're reaching out to. You have to make your brand feel like it belongs in that space. And belonging in the space, that's kind of the next point that I have here. You have to create a brand experience that will engage users and not disrupt the experience. And that's something I'm going to talk again and again about. Another big mistake that I see brands making all the time is just repurposing content. I'm not saying that you have to reinvent the wheel every time, because of course none of us can afford that, or none of us marketers can. There is content that will work for smartphones and tablets and desktop, and I'll talk about that in a little bit in a minute. But overall, you can't take a static design and just slap it into a tablet. Content needs to be built for that user. Like I said earlier, tablet users are curious, they're adventurous, they're explorers who want to play around on their tablet. In fact, the average tablet user spends over an hour and a half each and every day on their tablet. And I know in my case, I spend much more time in that. And that's even, as soon as I walk home, I have a 13-year-old son who grabs my tablet and uses it until I make an appointment to get it back from him each and every night. So my tablet at home probably gets used 3 or 4 hours just at home, and probably another 4 hours during the day. So people aren't spending all that time on static experiences. They're looking at photos, they're watching videos, they're playing games. They're exploring brand experiences. We've worked with Digitas, our ad agency, to advertise in a number of different tablet applications. I just listed a bunch of them. But in addition to making sure that we're reaching our audience in the right place, a lot of tablet work focuses on rich media in-app integrations. You can see here what we've done on USA Today, on the USA Today app. We didn't just shove banners in anyone's faces. We put the Buick Regal into a comfortable, natural place on this app. We set it up in 3 different sizes, and when people clicked on these, it didn't take them away from where they were reading or just send them back to Buick.com. Instead, we showcased the Regal through videos that really took them through the experience of driving one. And these videos were made specifically for this app. And if you liked one, you could go to the next. And if you really liked them, then you could have the option to go to Buick.com where you can learn more about our products. When I describe it like that, it sounds pretty simple. But don't underestimate the power of a truly engaging, immersive ad unit. And again, that's what people are looking for on a tablet. 1 year after the success of the Wall Street Journal, our in-app integration with USA Today brought in interaction rates with the participants of 231% higher than our typical benchmark. So we accomplished our goal there. Creating value. We've seen great results from our NCAA partnership as well. An example of our 3rd content pillar, human achievement. How many of you guys are, not just guys, but how many people out there, sorry, look at my audience. How many are NCAA basketball fans? Okay, quite a few of you. Last year we partnered with the NCAA to build an app that live streamed March Madness tournament games to tablets and smartphone devices for the first time ever. Whenever you saw a March Madness logo on the screen, you also saw a Buick as well. Again, it wasn't huge. It didn't try to distract from the experience, but it was always there trying to tie us back to NCAA. And the results were spectacular. People spend an average of 44 minutes engaged with this app, watching the live streams. There were people actually watching full games on their tablet. It was running the #1 free app on iPad and iTunes during that time. But we didn't start there. At the same time, we collaborated with the NCAA to create the Human Highlight Reel, a site that told the stories of former college athletes who have gone on to make incredible contributions to their community. The site was a huge success. It drove traffic to Buick.com and all of our Buick properties to record numbers last March. We increased by over 25% from any other month for Buick. And with March Madness just around the corner, we expect to top that using the learnings that we got from last year. You're going to see a lot of Buick. If you watch basketball, you're going to see a lot of Buick over the next month or so. Because we've told the stories of these inspiring athletes through video, it was perfect for a tablet experience. So with that in mind, this past fall, we relaunched the site at the start of the football season, and we used the tablet to tell these amazing stories. Like Boston University's Travis Roy, a college hockey player, on his first shift in his first hockey game, 11 seconds in, suffered a paralyzing spinal injury. He's a paraplegic. But that didn't stop Travis. He went on to start a foundation to help countless others in his position. The guy's a true inspiration. You should go out and watch that video. It really makes you feel good about what people can do and how people can overcome really terrible circumstances. Or former women's basketball player Kamika Simmons, who works with underprivileged and at-risk youth in her community of Las Vegas. Tablet users can scroll through all these videos. There's lots of them out there. They can share them with friends. And if they had somebody that was an NCAA athlete that they knew about with an inspirational story, they can send it in, and we potentially could do a story on them. You can do it too. We're always looking, this is an ongoing program, we're always looking for inspirational stories of people, NCAA athletes, and what they've done off the court, off the field. Our partnership with the NCAA is all about creating immersive brand building experiences for people, whether it's through the excitement of a live game or the hope inspired by an incredible story. And despite the fact that this site went live last year and it took place before the big growth in tablets this past Christmas. Nearly 1/5 of all our traffic for the human highlight reel came from tablets. And almost 60% of traffic on game days came from a mobile overall. This past year, we also sponsored NCAA football in the Bowl Championship Series and had many in-game apps. In fact, on Saturday game days, our tablet and mobile traffic tripled from the normal days, proving that people are really multitasking. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm almost always multitasking. When I'm at home, I'm never just watching TV. As long as my son lets me have my tablet, my iPad, I'm doing something. I'm on Google, I'm checking out people on there, I'm on Facebook, I'm always doing something else. I think that's how most people are too right now. Now, one of my favorite things about our NCAA partnership is that it's given people what they wanted, something that they'd want to learn more about. It harkens back to what I said about earlier, engaging, not disrupting. It's delivering value. The fact is, successful marketing creates value for people in one way or another, whether it's through education, entertainment, or promotions. Tablets are the same way. You'll make your brand feel like it belongs in the space through value. Let me give you another example. Last year, my colleague Craig keynoted the OMMA Global Conference that's coming up shortly. He spoke about what I think is one of the most innovative campaigns that Buick has done to date, Moment of Truth. When we launched Moment of Truth last year, it made headlines and won awards for its social component. Basically, it aggregates real-time social media and blog commentary from all mentions of Buick Regal on the web, pulling content in from YouTube, Facebook, Flickr, Twitter, auto reviews from Cars.com, Auto Trader, Kelley Blue Book, consumer blogs, and much more, all in real time. It didn't matter if these reviews are positive or negative, it pulls in everything. And by doing so, it creates value for people everywhere because it gave them an honest, unbiased forum to follow and join the conversation about Buick. Moment of Truth was a huge success. More than 78% of the people surveyed said that after visiting the site, they would tell their friends to take another look at Buick. Incredible results. So just a few months ago, we relaunched Moment of Truth and extended the site to all Buick brands 2012 models. And like the NCAA Human Highlight Reel, we saw that photos, videos, all this content was perfect candidate for tablets. So we partnered again with Digitas to build a new version in HTML5, making it flexible, scalable, and viewable across all devices, whether PC or tablet. We gave people the opportunity to sit there and just play with it. They could use the tablet to navigate the experience in any way they'd like. If they wanted to flip through photo galleries, they could do that, or just look at tweets. If they wanted to stick to blogs, or if they wanted to look at videos, they could do that also. If they wanted to look at just one model, or if they wanted to check out the whole Buick lineup, they could do that. If they wanted to review expert opinions in one spot, they could do that, or they could see what an owner had to say or consumers had to say. There's an endless amount of content there that we can pull in all the time. We were blown away by the results. Since relaunching Moment of Truth in December, more than 70% of all views come from tablets. It's a great brand building experience, and a lot of this has to do with the fact that it's on the tablet and how you use it there. As I discuss the tablet strategy, I want to go back to something I mentioned earlier. When it comes to creating content for tablets, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. With Moment of Truth, we use the same core idea. We pulled in the same kinds of social content, and it has the same look and feel that it did the previous year. And when we relaunched NCAA Human Highlight Reel, the same kind of videos are there, the same kind of inspirational stories. As a matter of fact, we reused the videos and stories from the previous year. You don't have to start from scratch to make a customized, engaging tablet experience. You just have to make sure you're delivering the kind of content that the tablet user will enjoy. That's the big difference. So, a lot of people talk about gaming on smartphones and gaming in general right now. In fact, 52% of casual gamers play on their phones. And as anyone that's ever played Angry Birds, which seems to be about everybody these days, can tell you, there are few things that are more immersive than a really good game. The same thing applies to a tablet. More than 2/3 of tablet users play games on a device. And 23% of users play a game each and every day. So out of the audience, how many people play games on their tablet or device? Okay, now the big question, how many are playing games right now? I was playing one over there when John was speaking. So we took this information and launched Buick eAssist fuel efficiency games back in December, available on smartphones, tablets, on our desktop, and shortly to be on our Facebook site. Now let's face it, I've been in the auto industry for a long time. There's a lot of things that are sexy about the auto industry. Horsepower, speed. Fuel efficiency is not one of those things. It's hard to make fuel efficiency seem sexy and interesting. However, with gas prices between $3 and $4, it's a real important subject, and especially when each and every year our vehicles are getting more fuel efficiency. It's a pretty serious issue the last couple years with fuel efficiency, and we wanted to find a way to make it fun and more engaging. So we use mobile to give people a really entertaining, immersive experience with our fuel efficiency games. It's given the opportunity to play with the new models, the LaCrosse and Regal, which has eAssist, without ever having to leave the home. You can see all the 3 games up on the screen right now. In the first one, Regenerative Road, your challenge is something that we've all kind of faced. How to get to point A to B without running out of gas. But the trick here is the car uses something called regenerative braking. So every time you use the brake, it sends power back to the battery. And as long as there's battery power to draw upon, the car doesn't use any gas. In another one of the games, players have the chance to design and test drive the creation in a wind tunnel. You can have some real fun with this and make some pretty wacky looking vehicles and see how they really perform. You can see how these shapes really affect the fuel efficiency of your vehicle and understand why our models look like they do. But instead of just telling everyone that fuel efficiency is important, preaching how wonderful our engineering is and how great our Buick engineers are, we've taken these mobile games and tried to get the consumer involved. We put a lot of time and energy into developing these and making these things truly authentic. Our partners at Digitas worked with Buick engineers to study and actually drive the eAssist cars and put those designs of the eAssist vehicles, the LaCrosse and Regal, into it. The cars that you're driving on the tablet respond the same way a vehicle does on the road. Everything from the regenerative braking to how the steering handles. The hard work and strategy paid off. After we launched the fuel efficiency games back in December, we saw more than 8,500 downloads in just the first 3 weeks. Now, we had eAssist content on our sites for the previous 4 months. And in 4 months, we had about 8,500 page views. So in 3 weeks, we got a more immersive, better experience than we had in the more engaging experience than we had in the previous 4 months. You know, we've reached out to people with this experience and kind of given them an immersive experience. It's one thing to read something on content on a website or on a tablet. But we really need to immerse these people into the experience. And I think we've done a great job here. The future of tablets. I have to tell you that I'm really excited about where we're going with things. As I mentioned earlier, we're really moving quickly to a post-PC digital era. Tablets are the gateway to that. Right now, our tablet traffic is moving up about 23% per month. It's growing astronomically. And when done correctly, tablet marketing can bring your people into your brand building experience. And I think there's a long way to go. I think that you're probably going to hear some more estimates as far as where we think the market's going to happen. But one of the research pieces I've read before this is that we expect 287 million tablets in the US to be sold in the US in 2015. So nearly every American is going to have one. People are already doing so much with their tablets. They're reading, they're gaming, they're sharing, they're checking in, they're connecting. You know, basically, it's changing the way we consume media. Right now, I have a 13-year-old son. I walk home. My son asks me for my tablet as soon as I walk in the door for my iPad. He just started doing this about 3 months ago. 3 months ago, he used to go watch cartoons all night long. Now he turns on SpongeBob. He takes my tablet, he puts in his headphones, and he sits there with the tablet going from one YouTube video to another, to another, to another. In just a couple months, it's changed what he's done. It's changed how I work. I used to bring my laptop home each and every night before. I never do anymore. I have a PC at home, which I finally went on a couple weeks ago to do my taxes. That's the only thing I do anymore with it. It's really changing the way we live and the way we interact. You know, people are using tablets to turn on their TVs right now. GM owns OnStar. You can use the OnStar remote link app. You can unlock your doors on your car. You can start it up on a cold morning day, or you can start it up so cool it off before you go in there. You can check your gas level. But there's so much more that people are going to be able to do with their apps and their tablets shortly. In conclusion, there's kind of one thing that I want to leave you with. There's so much potential with a tablet. We've just scratched the surface of it. I think the video that Steve kicked it off with tells the story tremendously. I think that's where we're going. It's going to be, our whole life is going to revolve around it in the future. And if there's one thing you shouldn't do, is use a tablet and as part of your marketing strategy just to check the box. You have to use it, you have to realize what it's capable of doing and build experiences for that. Thanks.
I had one question I wanted to kick off with Jim. Is, after all this, do you have a sense of how being on the tablet, and as you said, making sure you look like you fit in the tablet, how this has affected perceptions of the Buick brand? Are you doing anything to better understand what the implications are for you making these investments?
So, how many people are aware of what Buick is? How many of you have had a Buick in your past, or somebody in your family? So most people's perception of a Buick is not necessarily very positive. And it doesn't equal the reality of what our vehicles are right now. Right now, our vehicles are very tech-oriented, fuel-efficient, and we're no longer the big, large vehicles. The Lucerne was our last vehicle. That was our large vehicle. That went out of production a couple months ago. So now we're very luxury-oriented, fuel-efficient, very stylish. But that's not what people expect from us. So what we've done, though, is we've changed the perceptions of the people by being more progressive, tech-oriented. And tablet owners right now are much more open-minded, and I think we've gotten our message across and are quickly changing the perceptions of the people that have seen our vehicles through the tablet. So perception is now kind of equaling reality there.
Chuck Martin, Center for Media Research. I've got a question. If you could talk a little bit about where this, all of this fits in the context of all of your advertising in terms of Buick. You know, where is this in relation? And is this, are you getting more benefit from this because you can measure it more? And just kind of the context.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, like a lot of auto manufacturers, you know, we think TV first. But the one thing is, a couple people mentioned before today, is that TV advertising is going down. It's not as measurable. DVR is kind of killing it. At Buick, we really think that, you know, our future is being online, and with that, because as you mentioned, you can measure it. Number two is, if you make an engaging, immersive experience, people will come into that. You know, right now, when we're advertising on TV, we know that people are flipping through it. You know, they're DVRing it. One of the reasons we're into NCAA sports is because live TV is the one area you don't see that as much in. So, you know, people are missing most advertising spots, you know, barring, say, the Super Bowl.
Are you,
Hey Jim, I'm Howard Polskin. First of all, you are an amazing tablet evangelist, so kudos
Thanks.
to you. So we're, when you think of other advertisers who are using tablets, and automotive advertisers as well, so where is Buick in that? At the head of the pack, near the head of the pack, in the middle of the pack?
Are there any other people that work for auto companies in here right now? Okay, I've been in.
No, they all want your card though.
Yeah. I'll sell them one. I'll give them a good deal on it. I've been in digital marketing for like the last 10 years. I worked in most of the divisions within GM. I ran GMC.com for a couple years. And the one thing about the auto industry is we're not all that progressive. I think that at times we do a better job than others. I think that we were at the forefront of getting into some of these applications. We're really heavy into mobile. We're really heavy into tablet. So I think we're in a pretty good position. There are others at times, at times we leapfrog each other's. And compared to other people, I think we're doing okay. I think there's a long way to go. I mean, I would give myself probably a low B. There's some manufacturers, or there's probably not too many auto manufacturers that I would give an A, but there's probably a few other organizations that would get an A out there. So, we're doing okay. Can we do better? Sure. Do we want to do better? Yeah. And we're spending a lot of money on this, to the questions that we've gotten. We look at this as an integral part of our strategy. We are spending more and more money in digital in general within GM and within Buick each and every year. It's outpacing every other place. But one of the things is, and I've been in digital for 10 years at GM, our budgets have been flat. So my budget now used to go, when I worked on GMC, I used to have to worry about GMC.com and some online advertising. Now I have to worry about Buick.com, my mobile site, my tablet site. I'm doing more OLA than ever before. Same bucket of money though. So I wish somebody would give me some more money. If anybody can fix that, let me know.
Is there a conversion strategy on the other end of a lot of these different brand applications, like from gaming to banner ads to discrete rich media units? Do you push them towards a particular place? Is it a pure branding play on the tablet, or are you also getting some sense of how these people are converting down the line, pushing them to dealers, whatever the conversion would be?
Yeah, one of the things that we've had at GM for a while is, we kind of want to engage people how they want to be engaged. We don't want to push them down the funnel if they're not ready there. We want to intercept them where they are, try to move them down a little bit and give them the opportunity. If you're speaking to a dealer, of course, they want us to get them in there as quickly as possible. But we're trying to move them down and intercept the person as they expect. The one thing we have really realized, though, and it goes back into multitasking, and we've seen huge peaks. When we look at our traffic on our mobile traffic and our tablet traffic, we sponsored NCAA football this past year, and we went up hugely there. So we're going to have more strategies that are going to take into consideration somebody's watching a football game or a basketball game on TV, and then how do we get them in there with our tablet strategy with their, somebody that's going out to their mobile phone, and having a specific experience that understands that they're looking at that football game or their basketball game right there. So it's not something that we've done a whole lot of work with right now. It is something that's really going to become reality within GM and within Buick over the next year.
Jim Kruger, thank you very much.
Thanks.